Howdy, everybody. It's another Tuesday. We're a little late just because we got to work like everybody else. But, hey, that's what pays the bills and what gets us on the ice.
Absolutely.
How was your weekend there, Adam?
My weekend was pretty good. Fishing was a little slow. It wasn't too bad, though. I mean, managed a few fish, one nice one, so I can't complain. How about you, Greg?
Been pretty good. I went to a hockey game on the weekend, so I didn't do a whole lot of fishing, but I fished yesterday and today, and it was decent. A little slow, but
yeah. That's the Oilers game?
Yeah, or Edmonton.
How'd they make out?
I'm a Montreal fan, so I was happy.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Deported.
Why are you shaking your head, Mitch? Are you an Edmonton fan?
No, I think I'm more of a San Jose Sharks.
Oh boy, I'm down with that. That's way out of left field. I like it.
Well, like old Joe Thornton and them. I don't think he plays for them anymore, but those are all good Canadian boys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Most of the American teams have more Canadian boys than the Canadian teams.
Yeah. No, but, no. I don't watch hockey that much. If the San Jose makes it, I might watch an episode.
An episode. I like it.
I don't watch a whole lot of it.
Did you get out fishing on the weekend, Mitch? I've seen some pictures of some perch there.
Yeah, we did some perch. It was pretty even. The morning was slow until we got the right depths. Like, we're on dinks, lots of dinks, and we went deeper. We started off kind of where we always start off. We went shallower, but nothing. Then we went deeper, and that's where the bigger guys are rolling. So
right on.
It was kind of that later lunchtime to mid-afternoon bite. So it's not phenomenal, but we caught enough for supper for sure. Yeah,
it looked like there were some good eaters there. Right on.
Yeah.
This is all country, boys.
Yeah. No. Big Pike's the topic. And when we're chasing howdy, Mom.
Oh, nice. Mama Lily.
Yeah, all the way from the Yukon right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's up. My sister just had a new baby, so that's awesome.
Oh, right on, man. Congratulations to your sister. Congratulations to you. You're an uncle. That's sick.
Yeah, second or third time uncle now. So
gives you another reason to go up there this summer and chase some big pike.
I'm hoping we can sneak away in 2 weeks-ish. And maybe do a little ice fishing for some Lakers. But
oh, man. That'd be sick.
That'd be sweet.
Who knows? That's just wishing and dreaming kind of thing right now. But if everything pans up, we'll sneak up there.
Hopefully you can make it happen, man.
Yeah, no, it'd be awesome. I know a few guys up there. They invited me up on some lakes. They've been doing pretty good. So
right on.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, man, the Yukon is I got to live up there for a while. It's pretty special to me. The pike bite up there is pretty insane. Like you say, Lakers, burbs. You can get into some pretty sweet burbs. I mean, lots of fun to be had for sure.
That's a bucket list trip for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man, the Yukon, and I recommend it, man. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, it is an awesome place. So much good fishing, beautiful scenery.
Somewhere no one around for miles. You get out of town, and there's no one around.
Yeah. No. Cool. I think the first time I actually lake trout, my family never really lake trout fish, and I think the first time was me and Aaron. We 4x4'd into this lake above from our cabin, and it's just a little lake, and I think there's one guy that lives on it. He's a biologist.
Oh, yeah.
And we kept just going off this drop. Every time we went off this drop or up this drop, another laker. But it's just a little puddle lake. But it was sweet. I think the biggest lake we got was like 7 pounds. But
hey, man, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, throwing tinny in and just electric motoring up and down that drop off.
That's sick. Good times.
Oh, yeah. But we're here to talk big pike. It is the season. I know down south, you guys are kind of running out of time.
Yeah, week and a bit left.
Yeah.
I guess exactly like a week today, I guess you'd say. Tuesday, because 15th is
14th is the
Tuesday,
last,
so
is
we'll
it?
be out of time then.
14th
Yeah.
is the last day for you guys?
The 15th.
Or
15.
15th? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'll be putting my time in. I got 4 days coming up that I'll be looking for the big slew sharks. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Nice.
nice.
Weather's looking half decent down here, anyways. How about for you guys?
Same here. We got pretty much the same weather. I think you're just 1 degree warmer than us.
Oh, okay. So we're keeping it a little nicer down here in the south, but it'll be a
Well,
lot
I'm
of fun.
central.
Are you
I'm
going
the
to come down,
central.
Mitch? I'm going to put
I've
you on
been
the
trying to
spot because we
sneak away.
talked about it pre-show. I'm putting Mitch on the spot because I want Mitch to come down and say hi.
I got a good spot I want to really try too for walleye.
Yeah,
In the summer is phenomenal.
yeah. I'll let
But-
me know. I'll be there all weekend and for a couple of days on either side of it. So
Hey, Roy. Yeah, what's your temperature like up there, Greg? Since you're more the northern chapter here.
Cooling down tonight, but I suppose by the end of the weekend here, it's supposed to warm up quite a bit. I'm on shift. I start back work tomorrow for 7 days, so I think it's +2 when I get off. So it'll be nice weather for fishing.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's stable.
Yeah,
How long is your
hopefully.
season run for, Greg?
Right till the end of the month, 31st.
Oh,
last
okay.
day. Yeah.
Right on.
So I got a
Right on.
full set of days off, and I got the 2 last days of the month off, or on my days off. So I'll get another week or so out fishing.
Yeah, there's a few lakes around here that I'll still be able to hit, but for the most part, most of the lakes will be closing down on the 15th. So.
Yeah.
Give her a good go.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for a lake to head to, I know reservoirs are a good one down south. They're always producing big fish. Central Alberta, it's mostly I always find the deeper lakes will have the bigger fish, and mismanagement kind of screwed up a lot of things too. But I find like Sylvan's still a good lake for big pike. I'm gonna say it. People overlook it, but it is a trophy lake for big pike. You're not getting the numbers, but you're gonna catch some big fish if you focus on them.
Yeah, I've seen some really big fish pulled from there in the last couple of years.
Yeah, just the time of the season, and you stay on them, you can produce some good fish. The numbers aren't there like if you went maybe down south or up north, but you can still produce a trophy fish in a weekend if you put in the time and do your research right.
And I feel like a lot of the time, I mean, for me personally, it's about that one bite. I can deal without all the fillers in between sometimes. I'm just really looking for that big fish, honestly.
That one fish can make your whole day.
Absolutely. And like I tend to upsize my bait a lot to try to find that bigger fish. And this weekend, I mean, my biggest fish came on a jig and a minnow, so it's not always the right idea, but I mean that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going big with big suckers or supersized herring or supersized smelt.
Yeah,
and,
same here.
Yeah. What about are you guys like hanging them or are you setting right on bottom? Like for me right now, I'm on bottom because we're getting late in winter. Things are starting to die. Suckers especially, you're sitting on bottom just to make them look like you're feeding them. But
yeah,
I like to hang things on bottom for sure right now.
Yeah, I'm usually around 6 to 8 inches. I hang mine from bottom.
Yeah,
That's just kind of the rule of thumb I've always went by. I've never actually tried sitting right on bottom.
Yeah, so I just because it explains it a little easier for me. I'll sometimes be like I don't know, I guess 4 inches off bottom because I run 2 little jig heads for weight because I don't like to pop the swim bladder.
Yeah.
So then it kind of hangs just off bottom, but I feel like it makes it look like that fish is like that sucker's just feeding along the bottom. Maybe that gives it a little bit of attractant, but I'm always definitely close to the bottom right now.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season, I'd definitely be down to be mid-column, but just later on, I feel like things are dying, so it's easier. They're foraging, easy meals.
Keep them super close. if not on bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Wyatt. Hi, Odette. Glad you guys tuned in from the Yukon.
That's sick. I seen there was a guy on here from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Lost
Roy?
his safe ice. That's brutal. I seen Tom Boley's open water fishing already.
Oh, yeah.
I
There's
love
a lot
ice
of guys
season, man.
already
I'm not
open
ready for
water.
it to end.
I've been seeing a lot of posts down south, end of the season right now, open water next week, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to most of these lakes closing next week. It's always kind of a bittersweet time for me. I love to ice fish.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're going to that new lake, you're checking your Google Maps and everything, and we're rolling into the pre-spawn. What areas are you guys looking for to attack on that new lake?
Go ahead.
Or Greg. We can do counterclockwise or clockwise. It doesn't matter to me.
Let's go Greg first on this one.
Okay, we're going counterclockwise then.
Okay. I'm a sucker for bays. I'll find those shallow bays with the weeds, and I like that. My favorite, like even throughout the year, that's no deeper than 10 feet, 7 to 10. I like later in the year now, I'll even go into 5 feet and fish pretty shallow. And that's, I'd say 95% of my fish over 40 inches all came from that shallower water. I have caught big ones deeper, but usually they're all in that shallow, especially this time of year.
And this is where we are going to confuse folks. Because and I definitely I mean that's a smart decision going in those bays. I just find down south here a lot of those bays are like heavily crowded for me, and it's just too I'm not into that. I like that first step out of the bay. That's a big one for me in that I don't really want to necessarily be deeper than 13, but I want to be deeper than 10. 12 is kind of like my money zone where I spend a lot of my time. And honestly, that's where a lot of my big fish come from. But at the same time, they're not coming in the daytime most of the time. If it's the daytime, I slide in. And then if I'm fishing during the night or in the evening or just before the sun comes up, I'm going to be in that 12 feet of water because that's what really works for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great transition zone right now coming from the 20-foot-ish water where they're kind of staying, like even in the spring when they come off there's the post spawn, they're going to hit up that kind of 20-foot of water edge depending on the depth of your lake.
Yeah.
But on your average lake, I find they like to be in that 20-foot of water. When they move out of pre-spawn, post-spawn, they'll be coming out of that 20 feet of water into that shallower water to spawn. Like Adam said, he's
and
right on that.
I find they like to kind of slide back out into that deep water. And I think it's just because it's easier to digest for them out there, from what I understand. So I feel like they'll be in those bays a lot of times, and then they slide out because they've eaten something. So if you're on that first step while they're on their way back in, well, you could technically be the first meal that they come across, which gives you a pretty good shot at them, especially just a dead bait sitting on bottom right now, because I feel like that's going to be your real go-to. Unless you're in the shallow water, I feel like you get a lot of reaction strikes with your, rip and wraps and stuff like that. But once you go a little deeper, I feel like it's a lot more about the big dead bait sitting on bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'll just run once that morning bite's done and they kind of mellow out, I just do the one treble right in the middle of like a herring or something.
Yeah.
Then I'll just bring it up 6 inches, 4 inches. And I just clip the bobber on the one part and put it on the side of the ice there and leave my bell open. Because I'm a guy that likes to reel them in.
Yeah.
I'm not a tip-up guy at all.
So I run those iFish Pros. I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those iFish Pros are pretty sweet. That's a good idea, Mitch. I honestly fish tip-ups a lot. I like tip-ups. But I definitely love the fight on a rod. Like I got that 40 this weekend, and that was on rod and reel and jigging a minnow. So that was a lot of fun. On a wall I set up, a little nerve-wracking with 30 inches ice and an 8-inch hole, but we got her done.
Yeah, that was like Dad earlier this year with his little slender spoon and 4-pound line, and then he got that 40-incher.
Yeah.
Just roadhoused him.
I had her in the hole 3 times, and I'm like, when she went back down, I was like, I'm not getting another chance. There's no way. I've had 3 shots. I've missed them all.
It's
And
so
then she
tough
came
to
up
come
like
to.
nothing and then just opened her mouth and just hung there. I was like, no way.
That's the best. They don't do the spin or anything.
Absolutely.
You don't.
I ran into the fish cops this weekend while I was down there. They were saying it was pretty slow too, and like the walleyes seem to be pretty slow. So I don't know about the walleyes right now. Like, I mean, we are talking a pike show, but I definitely find the walleyes like to cruise these bays this time of year and get into that shallow water too. But they just seem to be slow this year, and I think that's a big time pressure thing that's not affecting the pike as much.
Yeah.
Like pike are just ready to go. Like they seem like if you throw a splashy spoon on and it's between like 8 and 10 in the morning, you're probably gonna get bit with like 5 minutes. It seems like down south here, anyways.
Yeah.
Not always quality fish, but lots of fish.
Yeah. How do you guys feel with the iFish Pro? Are you guys freezing over much, or is it giving you that insulation?
It doesn't give you much insulation. If it's real cold and windy, they freeze up pretty quick. And the one bad thing is that bobber stop. Once it hits that ice, you bring that with that little clip hits that ice, and sometimes you'll lose a fish lots that way. So I just try to keep the holes as clear as I can. I think next year I'm going to set up some foam with a thin line and just hope it does a little better. Even today, like we had 1/2 inch ice by the time we were done. Like you break it open, but it's just with that wind, it just keeps freezing it over.
Yeah, that can make things tough.
When I was at cold, I used those mats, and it was just blowing. What is that? Was that Saturday? It was just blowing. I just took one of those foam mats and cut it in and did a hole, and then just snow covered it except for that little hole, and it insulated it great.
Makes a big difference. Yeah, that's what I got to start doing with these iFish Pros. On the cold days, the warm days are fine, but on those cold days, all it takes is that little hiccup, and that fish is gone.
Probably just glue it right to the bottom of that and be done with it.
Could, yeah, because it's got a real thin hole, and then you don't need much right in the center because these free fall. It works pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, and like jaw jackers right now, like they're freezing up. I got like these little wood mats with basically like those cutout workout mats underneath them. That works pretty good too. It's basically just like trying to keep the wind out of getting into your hole, because once the wind gets in your hole, it freezes up pretty good. Blows snow in there, triggers the jaw jacker and stuff like that. So,
you ever use the little heater pads, like Kevin was saying? He puts them in a sandwich bag. Puts them in a sandwich bag and puts against the line there.
Nope, never tried that.
I haven't tried that. And then I seen that Freybill came out with a tip up this year with one of those. Like an aerator.
Sweet. The aerator.
That's pretty cool. And then I was reading some reviews on it, and like when you pull your tip up out and you leave it sitting there and you fight the fish and you pull the fish in, they're freezing up really bad. I don't know if that's true or not because I don't know one.
Yeah.
But I heard that's also a problem with those little flasher things too. When you're hole hopping, is that those flasher things freeze up.
Yeah.
But it seems like a good option. Like, I don't know.
Me and Marco were out fishing Cold Lake. He had the little vibrating puck you throw in your hole, and he just vibrates around. I can't find them, but he swears by them. They just vibrate around the hole, and it keeps everything from freezing up.
That's pretty neat.
They're pretty neat. Yeah.
You could probably throw one of those under the iFish and be good.
Well, it would keep me entertained hole hopping too. I just stare at that.
It'd probably jig for you as well.
Yeah, man. It's like cheap entertainment. I'd be like, oh, neat.
With those iFish Pros, are nice because you don't usually get, like, I've never got a false flag with them because you got to actually get that little tug to pop them up. So with that vibrating around, it'd never set it off because you got to get it to pop down past the lip and it'll pop your flag up and then just freeze. Just leave your bail open and
it's gone.
Free flows. Yeah.
We kind of touched on bait, but do you guys ever run like more aggressive bait in the morning, or are you guys always just watching flags and watching rod tips kind of deal?
I get really bored doing that. So I always have one flag down, like, because I mean it is a really good option. But I like jigging big flashy spoons, big rattle baits. I mean, try to get their attention. Even if you want to pound a jig into the bottom with like colored smelts, that is like fire for me. Like if you're fishing with people and they're fishing minnows, if you throw on one of those colored small smelts in a jig head and you just pound bottom, it's something else for them to key in than everything else, right? So I find it works well. But I definitely like to get a little aggressive in the morning because, I mean, it is March and they're ready to eat, so you may as well give it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually run one tip up, like Adam said, just run one flag, and then I'll go try for walleye, or I'll play around with the other rod. You get your chance of catching your pike, but I always got that one. And then if I'm going strictly for pike, a lot of times I just throw out two tip ups, and that's about it.
Big old 5 of diamonds, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Man, I'm not a spoon
It helps
guy.
if you can get, I find if you're going to use the 5 of diamonds, if you can find a pressure ridge and drop it down there and just run really fast along it will turn out really well for you.
You just need to hook it up on the back of a quad and rip down there.
Yeah.
Like one of those merry-go-round ones out of the ice there, and just keep rounding it around.
Yeah, put your 9.9 on it.
A nice size William Wobbler though, like a silver and a gold or whatever. Like I find if you stick to the really natural colors like that, they'll eat them for sure. If you can get a lot of flash going. Down here we don't have a ton of snow cover, so if you can kind of like pick pockets right now that don't have snow on them, and you can get that flashy spoon down there, you're gonna get cranked a lot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
What's the Adam?
Like Greg, you were talking, you guys got a lot of snow cover down there, so it's probably a little tougher, eh? You probably got to make a little noise. Yeah,
and we're running pretty much, I'm running right down to my extension on a lot of my lakes right now as well with ice, so it's a lot of ice, a lot of snow. The snow is packed so hard right now. Like I noticed today with some of the wind, you can see a few icy patches, but we had that snow melt before, so it's all white ice on the top.
Oh, okay.
You got about 4 inches of hard packed snow, 6 inches, sometimes 2 feet. It all depends where the drifts are. And then you got your 3 feet of ice. And then, so she's pretty dark down there.
You got the glow gear.
Yeah.
You guys ever run
rattles? Get them fired up.
Hey.
You guys ever run tubes?
I haven't for pike, honestly. No.
I don't like running pikes. I don't like running tubes for pike because it's just so hard on the tube. You're cranking through tubes through 3 fish, and if they're dinks, to me it's not not that it's not worth it, but it's I don't know, it gets expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, if you're ripping through some high end tubes, I don't know. But plain whites, I like plain white tubes for walleyes. They work really, really good.
Yeah.
But like I say, once again, that's super hard on them as well. But walleyes seem to be a little less picky when there's a little minnow head hanging on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. For instance, so there's a white tube with a piece of sucker belly sitting next to where I caught my pike with a jig and a minnow this weekend. And that tube and a sucker was down there before my jig and a minnow was down there. And it ate my jig and a minnow. You catch them in short. I missed that.
Oh, Brendan was asking, do you catch most of your fish on the tip-ups? Your big fish?
Most of my big fish come on tip-ups. I do have some good fish on jigs. White hair jigs and a pink smelt does really good for me. But most of my big fish do come on tip-ups and suckers or a smelt or a herring. So
just dead sticking.
Yeah, I was sitting right on bottom, man. I really like to hang out right on bottom. Kind of get off that weed flat, like I say, on the first step, kind of out of the bay. If you can find where those weeds end and turns to sand, seems to be fire, man. And you can get some really big walleyes on those tip ups too. So
yeah, that brings us to our next thing, structure. I know they love cruising the weed lines, and this time of year they haven't broke into the weeds as much to hit that spawning area. They're still kind of cruising the edges, but they are dipping in a fair bit. Just putting the feed bag on. So what are you guys looking for structure?
Just that weed edge, man. Weed edge is big time. Sand. I mean, I really like to pound bottom a lot, so I don't want to be picking up weeds every time, cleaning my hooks all the time. I don't want to be dropping my sucker right down into the weeds where it's kind of hidden. So I kind of want to be just off that, because the pike are going to use the weeds as like an ambush point, and they can come in and smoke you, right? And then get back into safety. That's what I feel their mentality is, anyways. So if you set that bait right off the edge, maybe a foot or 2 feet, or I mean, you can be a little further in, but if you can get close to that weed line, it gives them a little bit of protection, I feel, and they can see your bait and crush it. Because suckers and herring and dark stuff like that, like dark baits, smelts are a little lighter colored. But those other baits are a little darker colored. So once they drop into those dark green weeds, it's easy to lose your bait. Sure, there's a scent there, but it's easy for your bait to get lost amongst it with like sort of camouflage, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Are you running full suckers then? And what size would they be?
Well, I got suckers that range from like 4-inch suckers, and I got suckers that are, I think there's a place in Cold Lake that sells them. I got them from one of my buddies, but they're great big ones. I mean, I cut that down. I'm not using like a 20-inch sucker for sure, but
Yeah,
I mean, anywhere from 4 inches to 12 inches, I'll use whole for sure.
I got like 15, 16-inch suckers in my garage right now. They're huge. A little overkill for it, because you can't even set them properly on the hooks or anything. They're just so big.
And like, yeah, and like that's the thing, is like, so you have to make sure that you're really adjusting your rig for your sucker. Like, you can't fish a 4-inch sucker on big trebles like this, and it's gonna look silly on a pyramid rig. Like, it's gonna look silly. If you're gonna fish a 4-inch sucker, I like to downsize my treble and just put one in the side, and then it just hangs there nice. But if you're gonna run like a 12-inch sucker, I do like the pyramid rigs. The slider rigs are nice, but I mean, it's just another part that could fail on you.
Yeah, I got the slider rigs.
I like the rigs that like I seen that Lexi has them, where it runs through the eyelet, so that it's not like on a slider piece. Yeah, like that's money.
Yeah,
because then you can adjust it to all sorts of sizes of fish.
Yeah, you can sit them so your bait's facing down, facing up, straight, or however you want. You just got to move that back hook wherever you'd like it.
Yeah, super adjustable.
Keeps the whole front of that bait with both your hooks exposed as well. Because the other ones, I like the pyramid rigs, but these here, they keep your hooks right in the front of the fish the whole time. So when he grabs it, he's grabbing both hooks every time.
For sure. And like I do that, like I tie a little weight on the bottom, so it lets me know, like I say, like where bottom is, because I want to be right on it.
Yeah.
And always hooks facing back. So like if your bait's there, just, I don't know, always have your hooks facing back. I see them faced all different ways by people, and I mean, your preference is your preference, but a fish eats a fish 99% of the time head first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's T-boning it and then flipping it in its mouth. So if you're got them both facing backwards, you got a good opportunity at both ways of getting eaten.
Yeah.
So are you rigging right on the head and like halfway back, or are you going towards the tail on those slider rigs?
Put one like right in its neck,
yeah,
and then one in the dorsal, right behind the dorsal fin.
Yeah, it keeps them almost like the nose down just a little, I think, right in that angle. Yeah, the further you go towards the head, it'll bring it back. So you bring it back and it'll kind of nose it down almost like it's feeding.
Yeah.
Like a big pike has a big wide head, right? But you got to think, if you're fishing a 12-inch sucker and you got a hook in the head and then a hook way in the tail, it definitely has the opportunity to grab that sucker and never grab one of your hooks. And when it tries to flip it, it could easily, if your hook's set right, it'll knock the hook out before it even gets it in its mouth. Because you don't want your hooks buried they got to be able to come out of your bait, right?
Yeah. When they thrash around, and then you got a chance of getting that hook back on the backside of that fish. And then if you don't have a big 10-inch hole, it can be fun trying to get that fish out of the hole, especially at 3 feet ice.
I mean, yeah, and like that's the thing right now. So I had that a 40 on a jig and a minnow, and like through 30 inches of ice, that fish is trouble no matter what you got hooked on. Like a jig and a minnow, you don't have to worry about it hooking on anything. But just getting them up the hole in that much ice, you're getting all sorts of weird pressure on the fish. It's weird, man. You gotta be patient. at that
stress
point.
level is through the roof. Like, I'm not going to get them. Not going to get them. It
Yeah.
shoots them 10 times.
The
Yeah,
scary
Brent-
thing with double hooked rigs is you always got to be worried, is the other one just flailing around and going to hook
Cool.
the ice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a single guy on
Yeah.
that aspect. I'll just go off the dorsal just behind it, so it's doing the feeding pose, and I never have to mess around with that. But like I believe it was Brendan was asking, if we get it deep, are we gonna go in after it? Like last 2-3 weekends ago, I got a nice 40 some inch, and he took that treble right in the leader and everything, and like that hook was gone. So all you can really do is open that mouth up and clip, have a good set of shears, like pliers and everything, so you can cut that leader and cut it as tight as you can so they can digest it and kick it out whenever possible, how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to cut down as far as you can without like causing pain. Like, you don't want to pull up so its stomach's coming up and then cut it. Like, just get down in there and cut it, because one of the most important things when we're fishing pike is spreaders, like a really good set of spreaders.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a big mama does not want to open her mouth. And if you got her hooked even just in the top of the mouth, like just inside in the top of the mouth, if you don't have jaw spreaders, good luck.
Oh, it takes forever, especially
She's
if it's in behind that
She's
teeth.
going to chomp your hand or your pliers like 6 different times. It's going to be bad news bears.
Yeah.
And so jaw spreaders. And then, I don't know about you guys, I put hockey tape on my jaw spreaders, and then they don't slide around on their teeth at all. Like, it can't go nowhere. So once you have them in there and engaged, they're not, like, I mean, it may be able to close it a little bit, but they're not sliding out of its mouth at all. Handy.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a tip from Sebastian. Sebastian told me that one. The French assassin.
The old French assassin.
Yeah, man, that guy's got tips for days. I got to fish with him this weekend. That was good seeing him.
Nice. I haven't seen him for a couple of years.
For me. Same with me. Couple years since I've seen him.
Yeah, man. Sea bass is good stuff. It was good to get out fishing with him. I got out a couple times with him this year, so we didn't have the best luck, but we got on some fish. We had some good times, so that's all you can really ask for, right?
Yeah. So if that bite's slow and we're downsizing, like nothing's taking those dead sticks, nothing's happening, what are you guys going to change to make something happen?
Well, as boring as
it happen.
As boring as a tip-up is, it can move. You do have the ability to drill another hole and move it into a different hole. And that's one of the biggest things that I honestly do see is like a tip-up sit in the same hole for the entire day, and the person's like, well, I didn't catch any fish. Well, you didn't try very hard, did you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, move those around, get them going. Other than that, like, honestly, like, that's a deceptive thing this time of year for me. Slow times often mean big fish are in the area. Yeah. And the little fish don't want to eat because they know if they try to eat, they're going to get challenged by the big fish. So the big fish is just, sometimes you just got to wait it out. It depends on how much you know the lake, right? Like, I know where I go quite well, and I know that a lot of times when the bite goes dead, it's because there's something big lurking, depending on the time of the day. There's something big hanging around. And sometimes I can just wait it out in the spots I know they like to eat. But a lot of times I got to go to them, and it's just what you got to do. Drill some holes. You can drop a tube jig in front of them. You can drop a rattle bait in front of them, get a reaction strike. Because if they're sitting in the weeds and they're waiting and they are hungry, if something comes and annoys them, they're going to eat it. I don't know how many times I've dropped like that pike this weekend. As soon as I dropped down, bang. Last year I caught a 40 on a jig and a minnow, just jigging walleye. As soon as I dropped down a hole, bang. Like, if you can get in front of them, they're going to eat it because they don't want competition right now, but they do want to eat.
Yeah.
An easy meal.
I drill usually right off the get-go. I'll drill 6 or 8 holes. At least I got a few different options, different depths. I'll even, like you said, I'll go to, I like my 7 to 10 feet, but I'll drill in a line, like 4 different holes. I'll move over and I'll do random holes, and I'll just I'll keep them. I'll usually leave keep on an hour or two, but if there's no action, I'll move one, and I'll try to find what depth I'm catching them in, I guess, and I'll just move around. And if I'm catching a lot more in that 5 to 7 feet, then I'll drill another hole over here, and I'll throw one at 5, one at 7, and see. You always got your one lucky hole. You'll find that one hole that produces, and then you'll throw the other one. No matter where it goes, it won't hit. But
I've had that hole for 3 years. It's a GPS mark. I hit it every time I go, and I've caught probably a dozen 40-inch fish out of it.
Yeah.
And people go around me and like they don't catch anything. It's weird. It's weird.
It's the feeding trough.
Yeah, no, it is. It totally is. Like I have it drilled out, and like I know why it works and why it doesn't work. And I don't know why it's not working for the walleye though. It works for the walleye normally. It's not working this year, but that's not what we're talking about. So I won't complain about it too much. It's driving me mad.
Yeah. But maybe they're just hanging deeper with all the pressure changes. The deeper they go.
I think they're staying away because there is some really big pike lurking around right now. I mean, like we are in that time, and I think we've gone through so much of this with the pressure this year that the pike, because the pike are affected by it quite significantly compared to walleye.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't eaten as much this year, so they're super, super aggressive. And so maybe they're pushing the walleye out because they're saying like, screw you. These are my minnows. These are my bait fish of whatever sort. These are my perch. Like they're eating like crazy, right? So
yeah.
Because the other thing I'm not seeing any perch. So they're definitely doing damage. Depends what lake I'm at, but.
Well, that's another thing. Or the perch going deep to get away from the pressure too. Like the pressure will screw up the walleye and they'll become more lethargic and they'll hang deeper, I think. And I think what I seen this weekend where we're usually catching perch, they're 3-4 feet deeper.
Yeah,
than where they're usually hanging.
Well, I got 4 days coming up, so I should be able to pull something out of my horseshoe.
Yeah. Horseshoe.
Pressure has been brutal this year. Absolutely. Like it has been crazy this year. Compared to the last few years, like I get it that we get cold and blah blah blah. But it's been cold, warm, like and there's not even mild changes. It's minus 20 plus 3. Minus 40 plus 10. Like what is going on?
40-degree change is like within 24 hours, like 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Minus 20 back to plus, like it's crazy.
Imagine being like a fish outside and having to deal with that constantly. Like that's crazy. We get to go inside our warm house. They don't get to do that, man. They go below the thermocline, but it's not sweet.
No.
It's not. But
yeah, wind.
Yeah, Aaron said no wind, so
you hate.
But like we talked about for terrain, like we talked kind of the depth and the structure underneath. Are you guys hanging around points? Are you going to be going at the open mouths of narrows? Like which areas are you going to target for setting up for this time of year?
To me, it's important to find I realize that the reservoirs down here don't overly have current, but they have current.
Yeah.
And where the current is, the bait is where the big fish are. So if you can find those points or kind of those edges that come around the lake that go into those bays, they're going to be full of fish, in my opinion, as well as into those bays because it's all flowing into these bays, right? And I think that as much as ice obviously protects from wind, I feel like the wind kind of still pushes bait around a little bit. You know, I feel like it still causes the current to move in certain directions with the ice moving up and down. So targeting the windy ends of the lake, as much as it sucks, is probably a little more proficient, even still in winter, than it is in other times of the year too.
Most of our lakes up here, they don't have much for flow on water either. My lakes that I fish with bigger pike, they're pretty stagnant. In the spring of the year, a little bit, I guess, once the runoff comes. But I just find I find the best around here is those shallower bays, just off the weeds, and that's our best bet around for the few lakes that I fish. Anyhow, there's other lakes that we catch them deeper, but I usually don't target those. I got my few special lakes, and that's what I love to go to, and kind of got them figured out which bays they're in. And
absolutely. And like that's the thing, and like especially with moving into like a later season, like you guys kind of have, like those bays are going to be stacked full of fish in a couple of weeks. It's going to be super sick.
Yeah, we got another 2.5 weeks left of fishing still, so
yeah, that's cool.
From here.
Yeah, here in Central Alberta, everybody's pretty educated. Those fish are pretty tricky, but we make.
Yeah, I guess. Like I mean, like they definitely are smart. They're definitely paying attention to what's going on. But I mean, they're around. I mean, I've definitely seen them. Yeah. I mean, I don't think my camera was helping me this weekend. It was cool to look at them, but I think it was screwing with them a little bit. I like to keep it up high. I keep it up high and point it down. But I mean, when you're in 12 feet of water, 10 feet of water, is that really out of their line of sight? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, Clayton.
What's up, Clayton? How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Here I'm pumping irons and you guys are fishing. Hey, yeah. I get Saturdays and Sundays. I'm taking a special day off because it's the end of the season.
Yeah, no, I really want to rip down.
It's all good.
I was gonna head down Friday, but I think it looks like my plans changed. I'm gonna work Friday, so
yeah,
probably Saturday, Sunday.
But yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. It'll be fun.
I might take
nice
my
to see. Like, there's I was getting lots of size classes. Some really small fish, which I mean isn't always the greatest to catch. But I mean it's nice to kind of see them lurking around because obviously, I mean, for instance, I fish Newell a lot. Newell's a big fish factory. You don't see very many small fish there, so it is good to see small fish there.
Yeah, that's always an awesome, healthy sign that there's going to be.
And it's always hilarious because they come up your hole like a bat out of hell. They're just coming out.
You have to yank them out. You just flip out of the hole, flop around.
Yeah, I know. I call them Mike. I start screaming at him. I say, Mike, calm down, Mike. It's funny.
You don't call him Kyle.
That from is funny. But yeah, no, Pike are fun, man. Like it's one of the few times a year that like I mean they're definitely super easy to target the really big ones.
Yeah.
Like you say, a tip up is not a hard thing to use. I mean, once you figure out how to put the hooks in a bait and what kind of bait to use, just listen to a podcast like this and you have every piece of information you need to go catch a big pike. Like it's really not that complicated. It's find a weed edge near a bay, in a bay.
10 feet of water.
6, 8, 10, 12 feet of water. Don't need to go any deeper than that. And you have a good chance of catching a big fish. And if your flag's not going and you're not in a known area, like I said, don't be afraid to drill more holes and keep that flag moving because a lot of the times you'll drop your flag down and it'll get eaten right away once you get to the right spot.
Yeah, like for example, when I was talking earlier, I caught that nice one this weekend. I dropped another herring down. I didn't even set it. I was just setting my hook up and bang, had another one on.
Yeah.
Like as quick as that. I've done that multiple times with tip ups and stuff. As soon as you're setting one down, you can feel them tugging. So yank them up. And I've had it as much as 3 times in a row with 3 different fish out of one hole. Doesn't happen often, but
I like stopped putting my tip ups in before I set my tent up because I've had that happen to me a few times. Where it's like, okay, my tent's like half up and blowing around and I'm trying to catch these fish and the flag just keeps going off. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then you finally get the tent set up and it stops going off and you're like, okay, that was great.
Yeah. All set up now, there's nothing.
But no, it's nice to be seeing some good sized pike. Like I say, I don't really like to downsize baits, but maybe that's something I'll have to do this weekend is get some smaller rigs going with some smaller suckers and see how that pans out for me because the big baits didn't move a whole lot this weekend, and the biggest fish did come on a jig and a minnow. So maybe it's time to lower my standards per se.
I'm bad for running big baits. I usually buy those larger, extra large herring, but I've got a 38-inch pike on a tungsten this big and a maggot, and 4 3-pound line, and half hour later, and you get them up. It's like there's no way I'm getting this thing out of the hole, and you get them up finally. But I don't know what they get out of that little micro hook and a 38-inch fish. Not a huge fish, but still is a big fish for a little hook that's smaller than their eye.
Yeah, like it doesn't, like it goes to show, it doesn't always mean that big fish are eating big things.
No,
I mean, a lot of walleye are cruising around eating like shrimp and chironomids and stuff like that. So,
well, I've done super good for walleye with just a 5 mil tungsten jig and a minnow head or a minnow tail on it.
Yeah,
oh yeah, finicky bite.
I seen Troy was on here, and like me and Troy, we've been fishing a lot together lately, and that's what we found out we had to do on the one lake is just, he goes, you know, like I've been catching burbs on these half minnows and jig. I'm like, okay, and that's how things worked out when we were hammering the walleye on them. And you go up to a full size minnow, and things would be a struggle, and you go back down, bang, 30-inch walleye on 1/2-inch jig and minnow. I mean, sorry, a half minnow and a jig.
Yeah. So, like Clayton's saying, unset jaw jackers are good till 40-inch pike grabs your 40-inch rod, and your 40-inch rod shoots that jaw jacker 4 feet in the air, and it shoots back down the hole. Clayton was there for that one. I don't know why he's bringing that up.
Yeah, with set lines, you definitely got to be careful. That's why the iFish Pro is sweet, because you have that cover of the hole. When I use, for instance, I have like the HT, I think it's called like the ice rigger or something. That. And I always put a hole cover on it because, like, yeah, my bail's open, but if my bail decides to lock, goodbye. And I don't know about you guys, but my gear is too expensive to be going bye-bye.
No doubt. With those iFish Pros, I make a big snow pile where your rod goes in because it's only a small lip. And the rods that I run, the handles are super long, so I like to stick them in so they're right to here, like right to about here. And then with your bail open, these reels are good, but in -30, -40, they freeze up pretty good.
Amen to the sucker comment, Brody. Suckers are gods. My biggest sucker through the ice is like 20.5 inches, and I'm so proud of it. It's not even funny. Just wanted to say here.
What are you guys running for gear? Like on the rod? What are you guys running for a rod in line?
I got the 45-inch hot rod and Abu reel, a bait cast reel. I do have spin reels as well, but in the warmer days, I'll run the bait cast reels because I love them. And just with one of these pike rigs, but that's what all I use for pike mostly. I used to run tip-ups all the time till I bought these iFish Pros, and I just love them.
What size line are you running, Greg?
40-pound Par Pro.
Ooh.
That's what I run on all my bigger rods.
Give them the juice.
Yeah.
See, I would feel so much more comfortable if I was that smart.
Yeah.
But I'm Adam, and I'm not that smart. So I run almost all my reels have like 10 or 15-pound braid because I fish walleye a lot, and I figure I can get away with the pike with that. A lot of times I will upsize my leader because I mean I can deal with 10-pound braid. Realistically, has some pretty good breaking strength, but sometimes I'll upsize my leader to like a 40-pound mono leader if I'm jigging for pike. But I mean, I did catch that one last weekend on 10-pound mono. It's just take your time, be very cautious. I have done it multiple times. Ugly stick is what I always run in my jaw jackers. I always have ugly sticks in my jaw jackers. They handle the fish perfectly fine. 36-inch medium heavy. Handles the fish amazingly. Super good in the jaw jacker. You don't have to worry about it cracking. But then, like Troy, I think, said, got a Frostbite True Grit and a running gun. And those rods on pike, they just handle them beauty. Big walleyes handle them beauty. They're a little much for the smaller walleyes, but can definitely get the job done.
How about a running gun? I haven't tried it out yet. A running gun and smoke show.
Yeah, smoke show's
Yeah.
a nice rod for sure. Troy got a smoke show there. He showed me it the other day. It was pretty nice. I got like the drench and the I don't know. I like really long rods, so I got 39s.
Yeah, I ordered a 50-inch. I got it in the
Yeah, that
laundry
running gun, it's fun, man. And it's
50
nice to fish because you can just stand up and like, yeah, dude. You literally stand up and like
Dude.
you don't have to. It doesn't hurt your back. Like you just stand up comfortably and fish outside. Like I don't fish it inside. I don't fish it inside my shack. It's too big inside the shack.
Oh yeah, they're way too big for shacks or tents. Even really, like outside, they're great.
But outside, man, it is so comfortable to fish. It's unreal.
Yeah, but I could just bring an open water 6 foot something. Just do that.
Okay, it's not that big.
It's getting close though.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I said I'd never buy a 50-inch rod, and then I seen that run and gun, and I was like, ooh.
It's really nice. It's really nice fishing like those live targets, fishing bigger spoons like the Williams Wobbler. It definitely handles those nice. But like on big fish, man, it gets a good. I'll break it before I do anything. But like it gets a good bend, man. It bends all the way through. Like it's a lot of fun rod. Like it's a blast to fish. And like I almost my main concern was because I'm just a little small guy, you know. Like I'm like 5 foot, maybe 4'5". Just a little tiny guy from Ontario, you know, got this big mustache. But for me to get down to the hole, I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be like this and all over the map." But it's actually not too bad, you know. You get bent and you just hold it back here, kind of thing, and the fish is right there. It's not bad.
You get used to it after a while.
Yeah, it was, and that was one of my concerns because you are pretty far back. But like I said, when you're standing up and you're looking at your flasher outside the hole, it's actually quite nice to be comfortably fish.
And I think 40-inch, if you're fishing by yourself, that's kind of your max. Once you're doing the big reach,
You need a 6-pack like Greg, and then you'll be fun.
I don't know.
Hey.
I've been rocking this Masuda on a couple different occasions, and man, I never thought I'd go 40-inch, but I had the opportunity to get some, and like, yeah, they're sweet. They handle good.
They just load really nice, man. And actually, that's what I find about the ugly stick too. Is like they load nice and they handle all those head shakes so perfectly. It makes the fight way easier. I don't worry about sticking my rod down the hole anymore or something stupid like that. It's easy.
But like even the old Lunker Hunter, I love my old Lunker Hunter. I think it's a 34, but that thing has a backbone and it's just
34 is not bad. Like I say, my ugly stick's 36. Yeah. What do you run in your jaw jacker, Greg?
I run my I got 40-inch hot rod, and it's a little sketchy because they've been crazy, but they hold up. They're designed for jaw jackers, and I was a little iffy running a rod with that price on it. And after I ran them, these casting ones, I don't think you can, but with those they're medium lights. That's what I usually run for my walleye, and they've been nice. And 40 is the max I think I'd go with 40 on my jaw jacker. Yeah, I got a 30. I think I got a 34 and a 40 that I run on there.
I'm never going to run a 40 in a jaw jacker again.
Really?
Just after seeing that Pike cartwheel that thing.
Yeah.
Like, it fully sent it. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, that rod was bent in half, and it's just like, bam, bam, bam. Then it's just like, whoo, gone. It's gone, man. It's like a throwing star across the lake.
A throwing star.
I'm totally gonna run smaller. Like I'll run like a smaller mid 30 rod at least, just because that leverage is not there. If the front doesn't just grab it, because you shorten up that, it's gonna set into like right into your outriggers, right?
Yeah.
But that longer rod.
Well, at 40-inch, he's bent way back around and curved back. It is like it's pretty hairy when you set it up.
Slamming, man.
If you took that to the face, night.
Oh yeah. You're losing your teeth and your eyes and.
No, I've never seen anything like it.
I seen like I probably wouldn't go for anything bigger than 40 in a jaw jacker. Like that's kind of crazy. But the new Celsius ones, they're actually like, I don't know if you could put a smaller rod than a 36 in it.
I have one.
Well, those new Celsius jackers or whatever, like the tubular ones.
Auto tamer or whatever the heck.
Oh yeah.
I have one, and like it rolled around in behind the back seat headrests, and when I went to use it, the frickin' bolt rattled out, so I never got to test it.
Oh,
That's fire.
But that was because of me, because I loosened it off to play with the action.
Yeah.
And I loosened it too much, and it's somewhere in the truck. I might just have to get one water jet or something and tape it up. We'll see.
Finding good reel helps definitely biggest with Pike because they turn and take those runs like right now.
Yeah.
Like when you get the fish in the hole and she goes back down and takes off. When you almost got her and then she takes off again. Like you got to have a reel with a real smooth drag if that's how you're fighting them instead of on tip up. To be able to handle that where it's not going to just snap your leader like a twig, right? I mean, with steel, you don't necessarily so much have to worry about snapping your leader as pulling your hook. Probably pull your hook first. But I know with a 10-pound leader, I do feel pretty confident as long as I'm not hooked way down inside her.
Yeah.
That as long as my drag is pulling smooth, that I can get that fish to the hole pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
What are you guys running like the 2000 2500 series on all that stuff?
On my spins, I'm 2500.
Yeah, this is a Nasky 3000, so this would probably be my biggest reel.
The 3000.
Yeah, but then I got like the Pissy Fun Carbon X 2000. That's like probably my go-to favorite reel. But everything else is around that same size, 2000, 2500.
Yeah, no, I love the Pissy Funs. Carbon X, the Honor XT has an amazing drag system. It's just, I love it. The sound just gets me every time.
The other thing that I like is, so now I'm a firm believer, and Clayton Schick confirmed this. When you get a little fish, it goes really fast and really far. When you get a big fish, it doesn't go very far, just kind of takes off and goes. But getting spooled on your tip up is never a good thing by a little fish because it will break your tip up most likely unless you have a metal spool. These tip ups from HT are actually super nice because it's like double size of spool. And I got like 100 yards of tip up line and then some backing on it. Whereas like this one's full and it's only got 50 yards on it. Yeah, so I find it's awfully handy to have these big guns when you're running a tip up anyways. You still got to have a smooth. You can obviously still feel if it's smooth or if it's crappy to pull it out. But big spool, because like those, when you have a big bait and a little fish takes it, you're be mind blown how fast it spins. You guys know this. They take off like crazy.
Yeah.
You need a little harbor reel.
Yeah. So it's nice to have the larger size spool, or definitely just make sure you're keeping an eye on that flag.
Yeah.
Doesn't take very long for a big fish to swallow a bait.
Yeah. For sure.
Should we talk live wells real quick?
Pardon?
Can we talk live wells real quick?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I just see a lot of blind fish, and I know why.
Let's do our giveaway entry right now.
Yeah.
Then let's talk live wells after that and handling maybe, or maybe we can do like a teaser. Do a teaser for the giveaway, because we got a great giveaway. We got backwoods. Lithium batteries. They're giving it away another Dakota lithium.
Oh, nice.
And then
nice.
Lexi Lures say they got a package there, Greg.
Yeah.
What do you got there? Some fancy pike stuff and
Got some
Lakers?
some pike rigs and some tube jigs. I got everything's back over here now, but I can.
Nice.
Here's some
Those
pike
two-tone
rigs.
tubes are pretty sick.
Oh yeah.
Different ones here. The tube jigs are over in the box there, but yeah, some tube jigs and nice little package.
Let's plug that real quick. Where can we find that stuff?
On Lexi's Lures, so it'll be your Facebook page at Lexi's Lures and Rig-a-Jig Bait Shop in Fort Saskatchewan. There, they have a few things. We just dropped off some stuff there, and yeah, you just get in contact with me or on her site. She can answer and can hook you up. With
Absolutely.
anything.
That's wicked, man. It's wicked to see her business going off like it is.
Yeah, it's been doing pretty good. She's pretty happy
Some
with
great
it.
products, man.
Oh yeah. A lot of cool tubes with a lot of different colors and everything. I like the double toners.
I think
she's got some more coming in here pretty soon as well.
you need to get her on the lake testing the rigs because she'll kick your butt probably.
Oh, she will.
That's the way it works.
Can't take her to the river anymore because she outfishes me 10-1 on the river.
That's awesome.
She'll finally say, "Dad, it's your turn." I'm like, no, keep going. It's not taking it next time.
At least she's trying to give you a chance.
Oh yeah, she'll just wait till it's the little one, then she'll pass me the little one. She'll wait for the big one for herself.
Here's one for you.
That a girl. That a girl. That's funny.
Okay. So we got that in the mix. Let's talk live wells. Adam?
Well, I think we should talk live wells, and I think we should talk like weighing fish. Just like when you catch these, like, because right now, even down here in southern Alberta, it doesn't take very long to freeze an eyeball. It doesn't take very long to freeze fins, that sort of thing. Kills fish or makes them blind, which eventually makes them skinny and makes life hard. And you want someone to come poke you in the eyeballs, let me know, and I'll gladly come poke you in the eyeballs. It's not fun. It sucks. But no, like live wells are a super key thing that they're definitely more accepted now than they were, because for a while it was kind of like sketchy whether it was actually legal for you to be drilling these or not. And it totally is. You just have to have a way for the fish to get out under its own power. So punch one hole all the way through, depending on where that hole is for you. That's up to you. It doesn't really matter as long as it's in the well for the fish to leave. And that's super, just like, because a lot of us fish by ourselves, me included. For me to hit play on my camera is too long for that fish to be in my hand hanging there. Oh, I gotta fix the tripod just right and hit play so that I can get the screenshot later. Putting that fish on a live well for 2 seconds while you do that stuff, chances are she's not getting away from you. She's just gonna hang out there and recoup her energy. But make sure you soften the sides up too, because one thing I learned the hard way was if you just drill your straight up live well and she decides to thrash, cut herself up pretty good. So I think that's kind of worth mentioning too. And then just weighing, like I still see to this day, like way too many people hanging 30+ inch walleye and 40-inch pike like upside down like this. Even for taking a picture, it's super hard on the fish. Like up out of the hole quick and then support, right? Like it's all right to have her for a second like that, but you don't need to be holding your 40-inch pike sideways. Just kind of get them in the water, lift it up, and it makes for a way cooler picture because they're like dripping, soaking wet. It just looks nice. And that fish swims away easy for you to catch next year when it's even a little bit bigger, or your best buddy or what have you. I'm just seeing like a lot of blind beat up fish, and it sucks, and we're always going to see it because there's always going to be new people, and it is what it is. But the more we can get the word out there to just kind of take care of them a little better, the better they're going to be. When I want to weigh a big pike, which is pretty freaking rare, but when I do want to do it, I always have my cradle. If I'm going to do it, I'll have my cradle next to my live well. She's ready to go. She's not going to hang out outside and be put in the cradle. I'm not going to go looking for my cradle. If I don't have it out next to the live well, it's not happening. Simple as that. My bump board is right there, and like I have a wooden one, so I don't know if it's so much of a big deal, but I still dip it anyways. But like the metal ones, when they sit in the cold, think about what it's like to touch your tongue to a cold post, and then think about what it's like to put a cold fish on a piece of metal.
Yeah.
Not smart. So just dip it real quick in the water, take that measurement quick. Doesn't have to be perfectly exact because it's a giant anyways and you're stoked, and then get it back.
Quick measurement,
A lot of this stuff is taking a lot longer than it needs to take, and we just got to narrow that time down with everyone that we see and just help them out a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you see someone struggling with a big fish and you're like hanging out like, oh, I'm going to get one too, bro. I'm going to get one too. Like, you're a dickhead. Help your friend.
Yeah. So sucks. But when you got a few people there, we're always there, right? With buddies, always there right now. My hand don't leave the water. Might not feel my fingers, but I haven't really used live well as much, but my head, just the tip of the nose out of the water till it hooks
that's
out.
The thing. And like that's like
sure.
me, right? I know a lot of people don't like being cold like that. So that's why I say live well is really good. But like just hold her down there if you don't have a live well, because a lot of times like your live well's way over there maybe because you drilled your tip up around so much it took you a while to find them. So just keep them wet.
I never think of the live well. Honestly, every time I don't ever think of it. I always drill. I got my holes where I'm fishing, and I always have a hole drilled right next to where I'm taking my picture, or if it's by my truck or whatever. I'm usually not parked far away unless I'm on shore or whatever, but I won't get a picture then. Or I'll have, if it's super cold, I'll put a tent up with the heater in there, and I'll have a hole in there so that you can take your pictures in there. You can do whatever real quick. Same thing. You keep them down in the water, up for a picture, back down the hole. I don't weigh fish much anymore. I'll take a quick measurement, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Weighing doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
I want to catch a 30-pounder one day. So if I catch like a 48, 49, and that thing's right next to me, I'm probably weighing it.
Oh, yeah.
I just go inches.
I weigh my sturgeon. Like, I don't weigh a ton of sturgeon, but a lot of people know, like, if you come fishing with me and we catch a big one, I'm probably weighing it, but it's a very smooth process.
Especially with the cradle, yeah. I got a cradle I bought last year as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you hang these big fish by their gills, guys. That's every organ they have in their body just pushing down, and it's so hard on them. So when you got a cradle, when you lift them, it's fully supported. It comes out of the water like this much, and then you've got your weight, right? Boom, okay, good, down, back in, and she's good to go.
Yeah, no. Don't even worry about, like, if you want to measure, like...
That's like extreme situations weighing.
Even just lifting them out of the hole like that, like, cradle them as you bring them up.
Yeah, like that's why
that's a lot of weight right on your
belly.
Yeah, just cradle them as they come out. Take your picture. Like Greg was saying, if you don't got a live well, leave them in the water. Like, I was fishing with Clayton the other weekend, and we'd keep them in, put water over their face if you're just getting your camera ready. Boom, picture. Boom, back in.
If it's an important enough fish to go out and spend all this time and money that we've done to do, and all the hours that we put into chase and the time we spend learning about them and doing these podcasts and trying to help people teach them. I mean, if you have the real energy and drive to go out and do this, you have the real energy and drive to be able to take care of that fish when you catch it. So that's just all I ask is, like, give it the same respect that you are putting out there to try to catch this fish.
As the effort, you're putting it in.
Yeah, like you're looking for that one big fish. You get it. It's awesome. That moment, you want to share that moment with someone else. Like, someone else can catch that fish and have that moment you just had. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said that I don't like catch fish and then go and look at other pictures of fish I caught and be like, is that it? Is that it? It's the same measurement. That's like, I do it with sturgeon a lot because I know that the sturgeon that I catch a lot are the same fish. I know that me and my friends have caught the exact same.
But you catch a lot of sturgeon. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's just cool to me. Like, it's just exciting. Like, catch and release is fun because it gives you that opportunity to see a fish grow. Like, I caught a fish like the Powerade Pike there years and years and years ago. That was like 7 years ago now. Is that fish
7 years ago?
Maybe like
years ago.
5 to 7 years ago. Anyways, it was a while ago. Anyways, I still, like, every time I fish that hole a lot. I hope to catch that fish. I'm like, Jesus, I just hope Please come on,
Pretty
show
sweet.
yourself again, man. Please come and show yourself. Like, you know how stoked I would be like if I caught that fish again and knew that it made it from cutting that wrapper off it and surviving or whatever. That'd be so epic. Let alone just like any other fish that I've caught and released. Like, it's just a cool experience. I know of a black sturgeon in town that's been caught 3 different times. I know one of the people who have caught it personally, and like it's like, oh, is this gonna be it? Like, it's always exciting.
That's sweet.
All right, guys. We better get to the giveaways. Entering for the month.
Exciting stuff. The viewer excitement.
We have the Lexi Lures, Backwoods Dakota Lithium battery. So let's do something different. So we got 2, Adam and Greg. Maybe we should do a double whammy emoji. So we have 2 emojis this time because we were always doing the single, but if we have to do 2 on the same post, maybe that'll make it a little more complicated.
Complicated.
Don't worry about complicated. It's Tuesday. Come on.
I'm just bugging, brother.
I can't speak.
Here, yeah. Greg's being
Maybe-
smart about this. He's looking up a smart emoji. I'm
Maybe-
on my phone. I can't
I am.
produce
we'll
like
make-
Greg is. Greg is prepared for this. I'm just gonna wing it.
Maybe you'll stop making fun of me when I get my grade 10. Like, come on.
No, I will stop making fun of you when you come fish with me this weekend and we hammer them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to come down.
Man, those 20-pounders, like, they're something special. I mean, people can say what they want. Like, I've heard some things about Newell. Oh, the Newell fish. Like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, you catch a 40-inch fish that weighs 20 pounds and tell me you're not just absolutely blown away at the specimen you're holding on to. Like, it's incredible, man.
Yeah, I want to go for the walleye.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy as everyone thinks, because I would like to hear the amount of guys here that have gone there and the amount of times that they've gone in there and the amount of 40s they've caught, because it is not easy. It's not as easy as everyone thinks. But wow, those fish are something special, man.
I've gone down
They're
and
blimps.
fished those areas, and I have not landed a 40 out of Newell.
Oh, we got to make this happen.
But I rather catch a nice walleye out of Newell.
And that's the thing. I really love my walleyes, but that's why I try to dedicate that. Once I start running gunning, the tip up stay home and they stay at the shack. And but when I'm hanging out within my range of the shack, I mean, I gotta have one tip up in, because I got my fingers crossed that big girl's coming.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you guys got for emojis? They're gonna have to do it in their comment side by side.
Puke face.
Drooling.
Oh, what is wrong with us?
I think we have
There's a bunch of
pukey
pukey droolers. No, but that's a sweet prize pack for some pukey drooling. That's for sure. I mean,
Sounds like
I'd be stoked to be entered into this.
Looks like Broden is on her again.
Broden's
Must
on
have it
fire,
on-
man.
I think he
kid's
has
a-
it on speed dial.
He's a computer whiz. I seen him. He had headphones on, like Wes. Anyone who wears headphones, who wears headphones to a podcast, you should immediately listen to them, because they're probably smart.
Smart, yeah.
Notice I don't have any headphones on. I just have big ears.
I have small ears. You can't even see them.
Yeah, those tucked in your hat. What is going on?
No, they're not tucked in. I don't got earlobes either.
Sometimes I go just put them to the ice and I kind of flip them like this. They work better than my hummingbird, man.
Don't
I'll
hurt.
tell you what.
Is it just like bing, bing?
Yeah,
bing,
it's like a lateral
like
line
in a
in a fish.
submarine?
It's like a lateral line in the fish. I'm like, oh, there's big pike swimming over there, man. Let's go.
All right, homies. Another good show. Thanks for being on. Adam, where can everybody find you?
Horseshoe Kid, man. If you want to look me up, I'm Horseshoe Kid on Instagram. And my personal name is my personal name on other things, Facebook and stuff.
Greg?
Greg Rice on Facebook and at Greg Rice 3600 on Instagram.
And where can they get the Lexi Lures?
At Lexi's Lures on Instagram and Lexi's Lures Facebook, or I think it's a group. Yeah, it's a group on Facebook, Lexi's Lures.
Hit them up. You know where to find me here at my Alberta fishing trips. So everybody have a good weekend. Catch some big fish. It's March Madness. We are out. We will see you next week, Tuesday. We're talking...
How we did?
We're talking Winnipeg walleyes. We're talking greenbacks, I think.
Talking greenbacks. I've never done
We're
that.
talking greenbacks. March Madness out east for a change of scenery. So if everything works out, that's what
I
we're
got some
doing.
work to do down here still, so we'll get back to walleyes at some point.
Hopefully this weekend we can go for some crazy walleyes.
We got crazy walleyes on our mind for the next couple of months.
I'm on crazy walleyes right now.
I'm always on crazy walleyes. I'm on more crazy walleyes.
I think about crazy walleyes more than you do, but we are out. See you guys later.
Thanks everyone who watched.
Later, guys.